The Green Bay Packers are on the brink of acquiring Aaron Rodgers, and that's the word being tossed around right now. We've got a Lamar Jackson update or two. We're taking your phone calls. We're talking a whole bunch more. The Fantasy Football Show. It begins right now, pal. File on in.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
We have an announcement to make. Attention. This is an emergency live stream here in the early waking hours for Smitty. It's 8 a.m. Time to hit the news desk.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So we have a report floating around, and granted, you know, it's nothing's concrete yet. Obviously, we're so far away from anything really happening on any front, and I'll explain what I mean by that in terms of even Lamar Jackson. But there are two reports. Ian Rappaport is talking about similar verbiage as Diana Rossini, so we'll get to her report in 1 second. But Ian Rappaport saying that Aaron Rodgers, the ball is in his court. If he wants the Jets, he'll tell the Packers, and they'll begin talks. Until then, we wait. And so on to this report here, which I think is a little bit more, telling from Diana Rossini. Diana Rossini says that in the wake of an extensive in-person meeting between Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets brass, including Woody Johnson and Saleh, Coach Saleh, Woody Johnson, they flew out to Aaron Rodgers' abode and spoke with him in person, had a really good meeting, and there's optimism in the Jets organization that they're on the brink, quote-unquote brink, of landing future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, which would be finally. We've been waiting for this for a while, and let me just say this. I'm excited for Aaron Rodgers. I'm feeling the vibe. It is the New York Jets at this point. We're feeling it, okay? Is there a chance he backs into Green Bay? Sure. That's certainly possible. We need to prepare ourselves for anything, retirement even. I mean, we don't know for sure. He hasn't exactly come out and said, hey, I'm going to be a New York Jet, or hey, I'm coming back to play. So until we hear, there's no guarantee whatsoever. But I will say the vibe and all the news reports are very pessimistic about him returning to Green Bay. Green Bay's been very, from what we can tell, very into the idea of going down the road of Jordan Love, so they don't waste that entire contract and have no ability to know if he's the future. So I do believe we're on the brink, and I think that's a good word to use, of an Aaron Rodgers announcement. And there's a lot that needs to take place between when he decides he wants a deal to be made, because then the Green Bay Packers have to go and try and execute a trade and facilitate a trade. And that's a complicated, it's both a complicated and an easy task when everybody knows what's going on, right? Because if you're the New York Jets, you kind of feel like you've got the Packers by the balls, because now the Packers, you know, they have to trade him to you. So like, are you going to give your best offer, or are you going to make this an easy transition and process here to get this go from just, you know, talks to almost virtually an executed trade? Are you going to say, hey, let's not mess around, let's get this done, let's make a very fair offer? And are the Green Bay Packers going to obviously counter? Probably. And if they feel it's a fair offer, then maybe it gets done very, very quickly at that point in time where it can actually be executed. Now, there's complications in the contract. The Packers may want to take a whole lump sum hit with Aaron Rodgers, you know, trading him away. It's about, I think it's $60 million that they can either spread out over multiple years if they trade him after June 1, or if they trade him before June 1, they get hit with more of that, or they get hit with all of it up front. So a lot of complicated details in this situation, but we are, I believe, on the brink of an Aaron Rodgers announcement that he wants to exit and proceed forward with the trade negotiation between the Packers and the Jets. So this is not going to be something to where we know today or we know tomorrow. It's going to be more of, once Aaron Rodgers makes his decision known, That's huge news. We go live. I mean, we're probably talking about the same thing, but in a concrete fashion. But we go live to say, hey, the clock is now ticking for the two sides to start communicating and getting this thing underway. So a lot of stuff still to come. Okay, so as for, let's get to the Lamar Jackson news. And first of all, thanks for everybody being in the building here. Space Rick, you first in the building. Jimmy the Kid, Ron Navy, Romez, appreciate you all being in here. Let's see here. A-Rod couldn't even lace up Favre's boots. Sloth, come on, bro. Come on. And I know I love you, pal, but come on. Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, is a better quarterback than Brett Favre. But look, Brett Favre had his day. I watched them both play. So I do feel like I have a little bit of ability to say that. Some people didn't watch Brett Favre play. This is like people saying LeBron's better than Jordan. People that say that didn't watch Jordan play. You know that. You know, as soon as a 25-year-old kid says, LeBron's better than Jordan, it's like, bro, you can't even have this conversation. You're not even allowed to have this conversation. Okay? Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, much closer debate. But I'm going to say that comment, not able to lace up his boots, bro, I don't think so. If you wanna rank Favre ahead, I get it, but let's relax on that. Lamar Jackson, I want to make something abundantly clear. I've gone on a rant beyond rants after rant on that I don't believe these teams are out on Lamar, sources say. The Carolina Panthers are out on Lamar. The Washington Commanders are out on Lamar. The Dolphins can't even participate in a Lamar Jackson sweepstakes because they don't have a first-round pick. They're not even allowed. They're prohibited from talking to Lamar. So they're on the track of, like, if Lamar is on the table still and doesn't sign an offer sheet and the NFL draft goes by, now all of a sudden they're going to have a first and second round pick in the most immediate draft, so they could trade or negotiate with Lamar at that point. But that's if Lamar's out there after the late April 2023 NFL draft. And there's a July 15 deadline. So technically speaking, he could be sitting there and looking for offer sheets till July. But not very likely. And so all these teams that are out, I've made it abundantly clear that this is almost borderline stupidity. That we're sitting here saying that a team is out. And these announcements came hours after the announcement came that Lamar Jackson was getting non-exclusive franchise tagged. Nobody really thought he was going to get non-exclusive franchise tagged. Everybody said this is a guy that's worth three first rounders, whether people want to pay it or not. He's worth 3 first rounders. That's the valuation. And he's going to get slapped with a non-exclusive tag so any team can come by and snag him for 2 first-round picks? I don't think so. So teams are shocked. You know, they don't have time to react. Not to mention, no one's even met yet. No one's gotten a boardroom yet, sat around a boardroom and kicked the idea around the table. Nobody. So let's not pretend that we know these teams are out. I've already gone on a rant about that. Not saying that some of these teams won't be initially ruled out, early on. We don't know. We don't know is the problem. We don't know, and people are running their mouth about how Carolina's out, Washington's out, Las Vegas is out, Atlanta's out, more teams are out. And then you got people saying that this is a conspiracy, that these NFL owners are actually willing to not acquire a quarterback and improve their franchise, improve ticket sales, improve jersey sales, because they're going to lock arms and collude against quarterbacks to stop the guaranteed money request. Let me tell you something. If you truly believe the NFL, I'm not saying an owner or two wouldn't do this together. I get it. There's there's a bunch of pals at the top. I get it. But if anybody thinks the NFL is locked arms and all these owners, multiple owners, all these right here are locking arms, I got a cone helmet to sell you. These things prevent concussions. And if you wear these, if everybody wears these in the preseason, no one will have a concussion in 2022. I've got a cone to sell you, bro. If you truly believe that the entire or a big chunk of NFL owners are colluding on this, you're a conspiracy nut. And that's fine. I love that. I love that about you. You be you. I don't want you changing for anybody. You know what I'm talking about. Look, everyone's out for themselves. You are not going to destroy or pass on a quarterback to try and prove a point. Not to mention, nobody has to give them guaranteed money if they want to throw an offer sheet down. If anything, if you wanted to prove something to Lamar and the players and say, we're not giving out guaranteed contracts, we're the owners and we're taking a stand. Let's say the owners were going to link arms and say, we're going to prove a point here. They would do it in form of offer sheets. They would say, here's your offer. We're not giving you guaranteed money. You out of your mind? Here you go. Here's your offer sheet. There's your value, pal. There's your value. Hey, here's your offer sheet, pal. Not guaranteed money. They're not going to just boycott Lamar Jackson, a team like the Panthers that has been salivating for Deshaun Watson. They probably would have upped the price and paid the $230 million guaranteed had they known the Cleveland Browns were going to do that. The Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers were salivating for Deshaun Watson, would have done anything to get him on roster, and the Cleveland Browns came in stupid fashion and offered a totally guaranteed $230 million guaranteed contract. And the verbiage in there for whether he does anything wrong again, it's even cloudy. It's the dumbest contract in the history of the NFL. Okay? Make no mistake about it. But these teams are not going to boycott Lamar when they just let Danny Dimes sign a $94 million guaranteed deal. And you're thinking that these owners aren't smart enough to be like, hey, let's not give them guaranteed money. You all in agreement? Let's all get on a Zoom call. We're not giving these players guaranteed money. You hear me? Could they have a conversation like that? Could they try and do something like that? I wouldn't put it past them. But if anybody thinks they're actually going to boycott trying to negotiate with Lamar because this other owner who's got a quarterback, this other owner who's already got his quarterback, his team's fully functional, they're playoff ready, and he's telling the guy that owns the Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons, the Las Vegas Raiders, don't go after Lamar. Okay, even though we're all set, you don't go after Lamar because we don't want to set a precedent that you could get guaranteed money. No one has to give them any guaranteed money. You can negotiate with them without giving them a guaranteed contract. So I'm sick and tired of hearing the conspiracy theories about how the owners are colluding all together to boycott Lamar Jackson. Stop. Part of what's happening here is that the teams can't even talk to him. The teams can't talk to him until March 15. Okay? And this right here, on Wednesday, today, the NFL reminded, on today's Thursday, on Wednesday, yesterday, the NFL reminded clubs in a memo that next week's 2-day negotiating period applies to the unrestricted free agents. Okay, so there are 2 days next week prior to the league start date of March 15, where there's still the tampering concerns for these teams. And I think it was said beautifully, I believe on NFL Network, where they talked about the fact that there are agents that have connected players and team connections, and there's conversations, back channel conversations that happen all the time that kind of step right around, tippy-toe around the tampering situation, right? Hey, just wondering if you guys are in the market for a quarterback. Why don't you give us a call on the 15th? We don't know the conversations that are had, but they're had. This is how leaks happen. These sources, sometimes when they're accurate, have to do with similar conversations like that. Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent, and that's his fault. That's his fault. Let's put some onus on him. This is one of the dumbest moves Lamar Jackson can make during one of the most critical parts of his life, where he's trying to navigate a very complex deal where he's asking for guaranteed money that no one wants to pay, and there's a media frenzy going on that's fueling this conspiracy here. It's fueling that, and there's a combination of everything going on. There are people that don't want him to have a guaranteed contract. There are upset owners that maybe 1, 2, or 3 are talking to each other saying, don't give him a guaranteed deal. I get that that's probably happening, but no one's locking arms. No one's going to not look out for themselves. But the problem is Lamar can't even speak to these people through back channels because he doesn't have an agent. And these teams, as said in a couple different places very eloquently, that these teams are probably petrified Peters, is what we call them here, to reach out to Lamar. You can't reach out to Lamar in a back channel way. You will be colluded. You will be caught. You will be caught, and the NFL will come down on you with a swift punishment. There's no way to back channel communicate with Lamar Jackson without it being blatantly obvious, because these agents have a reason to have the discussions with these teams, with other players. Most players in the NFL have shared agents to some degree. There are a lot of players under this agent, a lot of players under that agent, and if this team's talking to said agent, there's back channel communication. Lamar can't have that. So I don't want to hear no teams coming out and saying right now that we're out of the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes, unless some executive assistants, brothers, dogs, sisters, dry cleaner had a conversation with someone that had a conversation with someone that had a conversation with someone. Like yesterday's report, again, totally respect Diana Rossini, not suggesting her report was wrong, but her sources that she said she had, and again, she might have them, and they could be right, they could be wrong, they could be right more often than they're wrong, but these sources that the Atlanta Falcons weren't interested in Lamar Jackson, it was sources, right? And we make fun of sources all the time on the channel now, don't we? And guess what everybody did? According to Diana Rossini, the Atlanta Falcons are out. And then I have people DM me and say, Smitty, you're wrong. There was a source, Diana Rossini. When Adam Schefter said, according to Diana Rossini, the Atlanta Falcons were out, there is a source, Diana Rossini. No, if you follow the breadcrumbs, that was Diana Rossini being quoted from sources. And that's my whole point. We don't know. We have sources telling us sources. Who do you trust? Do you trust sources? Do you trust a person that is unwilling to tie their name to the situation? They obviously don't have that much authority on the topic if they can't speak to it. And if they do have authority and they're staying quiet, they're ratting out their organization. Do you trust that? Do you trust that? Do you think the Atlanta Falcons want everyone to know what they're thinking? Does anybody in here think that everybody... I'll open the phone lines in 1 second, guys. I have a bunch of you calling in. I'll open the phone lines in 1 second. Do you think that the teams are in the business of letting everyone know what's on their mind? Does anybody think that if the Atlanta Falcons wanted Lamar, they want to telegraph that to everybody? When you're in an auction draft and you want Saquon Barkley and someone calls Saquon Barkley's name, are you going to let everyone know in there, I'm going to be bidding on Saquon Barkley to the top dollar available to me, okay, before we start the auction? Go at once, 26, okay, 28. Well, now they know what I want. Do you guys really believe the NFL is in the business, the owners are in the business, these clubs are in the business of allowing people to know exactly what's on their mind? There's a possibility all these teams end up not pursuing him, but that doesn't mean the early sources situation was correct, because no one could know. These teams didn't have a second to even meet. They didn't sit around a boardroom. Within 2 hours, everybody's running their mouth about this. And this is the bigger problem right now in terms of why we won't hear anything for some time, and why we probably won't hear anything, because of fear of tampering. Nothing can happen until March 15. No conversations can happen until March 15. This guy does not have an agent, which is one of the dumbest moves he can make in this current situation. So we all are just going to be in a holding pattern and listening to more fodder and more predictions and more guesswork, which is a lot of what I do. So in defense of everybody that is participating in the guesswork game, there is a degree of it on this channel, and that's part of what we do, and I admit that up front. I'm not in the business of reporting from a factual perspective. I'm in the business of analyzing and evaluating and trying to shoot down or Smitty approve or disapprove a piece of news out there. And so Lamar Jackson is we're going to find out a whole lot more later. I just want people to know that there's no back channel communications. There's no way that Lamar Jackson can have conversations with teams. They wouldn't answer the phone because they'd be petrified Peters of league discipline, because the ability to track that is so blatantly out there. It's not like you can, I didn't talk about this. The agent called up, said, hey, you guys looking for a quarterback? And we said, we probably will be, Bob. We'll probably be very interested. Hey, it's Bob, agent of Lamar Jackson. Are you going to be looking for a mobile quarterback, a real fast quarterback that loves guaranteed money? Are you looking for one of them? Yeah, we will be looking for a guaranteed seeking money, running, scrambling quarterback and former MVP type of caliber. You know, a guy likes to scramble a lot. Guy might have been recovering from a knee injury. We'd be very interested if one of those types of players became available. You know what I'm saying, Bob? Those are the back channel conversations that can't be had. There's no ability for teams to pursue any sort of communication. They're waiting. They're petrified Peters for a reason, okay? And this right here, Chargers, we don't have Hopkins news is that just we talked about it yesterday. Hopkins is very open to being on the Cardinals next year. He's very open for being traded. He's very open to negotiating. And I think he ends up either being a Green Bay Packer if Aaron Rodgers returns to Green Bay, or I'd say a Bear. I think he'd be a Chicago Bear, catching footballs from another mobile quarterback, because that's what this man does. DeAndre Hopkins, I hope you don't leave Arizona, pal. But if you do, go to Green Bay if Aaron Rodgers does return, which he won't, or go to Chicago and play football with a guy named Fields that needs you. He needs to throw while he's on the run, and you're amazing at it. So Hopkins, we wish you luck wherever you go. To the moon, DeAndre.
To the moon.
I really wish you'd stay a Cardinal, but I don't think that's in the cards. This right here, Chargers restructured wide receivers Keenan Allen and Mike Williams' deals, creating $14.3 million in cap space. Dolphins did some reconstructing with Chubb's deal. Panthers restructured offensive tackle. So we got a lot of different things going on, but some of these aren't necessarily telling of like a upcoming acquisition. We're talking about the league calendar year starting on the 15th and free agency starting. So teams are trying to free up and move around money. Like, don't be shocked if the Green Bay Packers do some sort of reconstructing of a contract, and don't draw too much into that, because every team is looking to free up some cap as we head into the beginning of the league year on the 15th, which is just right around the corner. Now the phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show if you know and want to talk with your bro. I'm here for you. Hopkins to the Cowboys, certainly in the cards. I think there's a lot of landing spots that make sense for Hopkins. My two favorite spots, they won't necessarily be for sure the landing spots, but I think they make a lot of sense too, is the Bears, the Packers. We've heard the Patriots, which would be a trap. That's a trap. Cowboys will be very interesting. Ron, I like this idea you're live on the Fantasy Football Show, Ron. I like this concept because, you know, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be seeking a way to get over this hump. I do know they want to run the ball, according to McCarthy. But, you know, it doesn't mean they don't want to bring in somebody to help Dak Prescott stretch a defense so that they can run the ball. Ron, what's going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, for one thing, it makes sense. Hopkins, I like Hopkins. They were already pursuing OJB. I don't like OJB going there. He's got too many issues for me. I think Hopkins is a better choice for them, and I think he'd pair with Lamb. You put Lamb back in the slot and let Lamb do his thing, and you know, you can mix match him around a little bit, but I think Hopkins would be a better choice for Dallas than Beckham Jr.
Yeah, it could be. Mitch makes a really good point. It sucks that Lamar's script doesn't allow him to have an agent. I agree. Like, let me look at this thing real quick. According to the NFL script, Lamar Jackson will not have an agent until 2028. So that's a really tough script for Lamar to get. The script strikes again.
The script strikes again.
Now, here's the thing. Is I wanted to counterpoint what you were pointing on about Lamar stuff, and you know, I don't think you can say it's a conspiracy theory that they're. I mean, you could say it, yeah. I mean, I don't think in general, because it's happened before. We've seen it happen before, where this exact same thing, where the owners get together, and the owners. Is it coincidence that the owners just met? And then right after the owners just meet, the Lamar comes out, and now no team, like within 10 minutes, right after you have 5-6 teams come right out all at the same time, pretty much, and say, we're not interested in Lamar. I mean, that's just so coincidental that, is it a conspiracy theory? I know there's a lot of different ways that we can look at this, your way and this way, and some other people have other ways they're looking at it. But, I mean, look at Colin Kaepernick. Nobody wanted that. Yeah, they brought him in for some practice and stuff, but it was all proven. They all decided, no, we're not going to sign him. We might bring him in, but we're not going to sign him. We're not going to do this. And that was all collusion. Collusion has happened before in the NFL. It'll happen again. It could be happening.
For sure. I don't think in this situation, though, you're going to have the Carolina Panthers, the Washington football team, the loss. And I agree with you. Collusion's all over. And I'm not saying that there aren't a team or two that are potentially talking about this. But these teams on screen here, aside from the Miami Dolphins, don't have a quarterback at all. And if someone with a quarterback comes in and says, guys, you can't go after Lamar, do you really believe that a majority of owners that are starving for a quarterback, owners, mind you, that would have probably done the Deshaun Watson deal? I think the Atlanta Falcons, had they known what the Cleveland Browns were going to drop in the final hour, they would have matched it. And they would have done whatever they could have. The Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons were desperate for Deshaun Watson. And I'm not saying that
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that they wouldn't be like, okay, we don't want to pay a fully guaranteed deal, but boycotting Lamar has nothing to do with that at the end of the day when your offer sheet could be whatever you want it to be. Boycotting Lamar doesn't do anything. They could make this stand by saying, here's our guaranteed offer. It's $120 million on a $350 million deal. That makes more of a point and resonates more when everybody's speaking with offer sheets. Here's your offer sheet. But for the Atlanta Falcons, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Washington Commanders, the Carolina Panthers, and any other team that doesn't have a quarterback, to listen to a bunch of other owners that are rich in quarterback play tell them they should boycott Lamar to prove a point to players, it makes zero sense to me. I understand what you're saying, Ron, and I appreciate the perspective, and I certainly not trying to convince anybody to change their perspective. I just think it's crazy that there's no way. It's like in fantasy when, my example yesterday, when I drafted Drew Brees as my second quarterback in a 1 QB league 5 years ago in round 4. I drafted a quarterback in round 2. I drafted Drew Brees again in round 4 because he fell. He should have been a second rounder. This is back when Brees was like a top 15 pick. And back in the day, quarterbacks went early. And I had everybody in the league try and lock arms to try and not trade with me. Hey, let's screw Smitty over. He thinks he's going to take advantage of us by drafting Brees late and trading him to one of us. And all you got to do is go to one owner at a time, and they fold like chairs. You're like, bro, don't worry about your agreement with everybody. Don't you want to win this league? Yeah, I do want to win this league. I traded him for a top 12 overall pick and completely destroyed and won the league. No one's going to stop Atlanta from filling their quarterback need. No one's going to stop Washington, Las Vegas, Carolina. There's ticket sales involved. There's jersey sales involved. There's more money to be lost in not getting this quarterback that's there for the taking than trying to lock arms and not have the entire league not pay guaranteed money for a QB. Not to mention, again, Ron, I totally appreciate your perspective. I'm not saying you're wrong in having it. But I just 100% think there's no benefit to doing this boycotting than there would be to offering and setting him in his place. Here's your offer sheet. Look at the guaranteed money line. It's not a fully guaranteed, Lamar. Here's your value. Enjoy. Come let us know if you want to be a part of our club. Next offer sheet comes in. There's your offer, Lamar. Guaranteed money line. Look at that. 120 million, not 200 million. See you later. That would make more of a statement and put a player in their place, then literally let's not try and fix our franchise and prove a point here. That's all I'm saying. And not to mention, nobody can even speak to Lamar until the 15th or is tampering. And so I just, there's no way these clubs had their decision already made when they had no idea he was going to be non-exclusive tagged. That is such a big, shocking development when it happened. These teams were probably not even in a boardroom to discuss this. The decision makers weren't even together. There's no way these guys had this ability to have this answer and know the non-exclusive tag was coming, unless of course everyone knew the non-exclusive tag was coming, but that would have been leaked. Nobody can keep that kind of thing quiet. So we'll see. Again, I agree. There's probably owners that could collude together. I believe there's corruption everywhere. I don't want you to think that's my take, come away with that as the takeaway. But I certainly don't think a team like Atlanta, a team like Carolina is going to do something for the league and sacrifice money and potential longevity of the franchise. I think it's a crazy theory. I think everyone's so excited to be on this script conspiracy, corruption conspiracy train that everybody's looking for something everywhere, around every corner. There's corruption, and I agree with some of it. I agree that there are bad refs. I agree there's a potential compromised ref here or there. I think that's totally doable. I believe the NFL is so capable of bad decision making and handing down a year-long suspension to Calvin Ridley and Alvin Kamara's totally unscathed right now. Like, there's so much wrong with the NFL. They botch a lot, and I'm very, very. They got to do better in so many fronts. But I don't see Lamar Jackson being boycotted, and I think that the proof will be in the pudding on the 15th when we start seeing the teams that are interested. And I believe at least one or two of these is going to have more interest than these early reports suggest, because they're sources, Ron. I'm so tired of hearing sources without any names. You know what a source is that doesn't put their name to it? A rat. Like, someone in the organization is leaking and talking out of school and out of turn, and they're not willing to put their name to it. That's what I feel a lot of these so-called sources are. They're people trying to get on a story quickly. They used to use sources very rarely, and when the right person would use it that had a track record for it, we'd be like, you know what? It's unnamed, but we really trust Ian Rappaport right now. And so if he's got an unnamed source and he uses this very scarcely, I believe it. But now everyone uses it and everyone gets away with it, and there's no accountability for it. And there'll be no accountability for this. These sources that these teams are out, there'll be no accountability if two of these teams come back in.
But the problem is, Smitty, and I'm not saying when you say, like you said it yourself, your league, they all did arms and they all said they were going to trade with you and all that, but they broke down, right? So that's a possibility of happening here. They could, because the owners just met. You never know what these white money owners are colluding to and behind the scenes. I mean, they could be saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're gonna put the non-exclusive tag on Lamar and blah blah blah, because it's just too coincidental that Atlanta, who was hot, would have done anything for Deshaun last year and was all over, and they still need a quarterback. All these teams that still need a quarterback, within 10 minutes of each other, all put out the same report. We're not interested.
But did they put it out? But did they put it out, Ron? We have no proof that any of these teams said it. No proof.
You can't have 6-7 teams with just. I understand the sources thing because it happens in regular news too. They just put out sources, but you can't have that many all at one time, and that impact of a small time period come out with bogus sources all over the place. It was planned for that information to come out there, and I think it was planned through the owners to get that information out there. And I think they are locking arms at this point. I'm not saying that you're wrong in saying that come the 15th that some team will come out and say that okay, we're going to go get our quarterback no matter what you guys say, because I mean that's just how things operate. But I think at this point in time, I think the owners wanted to make a statement, and that's what they're doing. Now the owners, of course, can do whatever they want that's better for their franchise later, but I think at the front part of this, that it very well could be a collusion type of deal.
Yeah,
see what happens.
Again, I think there could, like I said, there could be owners, a couple owners, there could be whatever. Maybe there's 3 of these guys that truly are doing that. And I said that. Like, there could be some collusion involved. But do I believe that every one of these teams is locking arms and doing it? No, I don't. I think there's very little chance. Not to mention, if that got out, that would be very, very bad, and it would get out, and it's too hard to keep something like that quiet. And do I think, again, is a buddy system here? There probably is. But are you going to do something? Are you going to even like plot something that's going to destroy your potential to get a quarterback? And if you do believe that Lamar is the answer or could be the answer, and yeah, you don't want to pay him guaranteed money, but who cares? This isn't sending a message. Like, it's not sending a message would be, here's your guaranteed offer, and it's $120 million on a $350 million deal or whatever. That would send a message different. Putting Lamar Jackson in his place with an offer sheet does way more to send that message than we're not interested in Lamar. I don't see it. I don't see Atlanta and Carolina both being in collusion with other owners that have quarterbacks. It would be the most ridiculous arrangement. It's like going to a bunch of poor people and a bunch of rich people saying, hey, because that's what it is. Even though they're all rich owners, in a sense, in this world, the Falcons are poor. The Carolina Panthers are poor. It's like rich people going to poor people and saying, hey, when they come offering, this, don't accept it. Easy to say, and I don't buy it for a second that every owner is in the same mindset, or that even a big chunk of owners is in that same mindset of sacrificing for the sake of what? Like, guaranteed contracts are coming. They are coming, especially with quarterbacks. And Jalen Hurts will probably sign, even if it's not guaranteed, he'll get well over $200 million. He'll get well over $200 million, if not 180 on a huge deal. But Burrow and Hurts are about to get what everybody's saying the league doesn't want to happen. And guess what those teams are? Very rich in quarterbacks, because they've got Hurts and they've got Burrow. They're not concerned about what the people below them think, or teams that don't have quarterbacks think. I just find it very hard to believe that on a grand scale, on a small scale, I agree with you. And I said that from the beginning. Could 2 of these teams be in some sort of corruption scheme against Lamar? Sure. Could a couple teams be very upset about, like one comment in here, that he doesn't have an agent, and it's very, very annoying, and we're going to show him that until he gets an agent, we're not going to deal with him? Maybe. But if it's me and I need a quarterback, you know what I'm looking at? Opportunity. All these people are playing this corruption game, let's say. 2 or 3, 4 of these teams are, let's say, out of the whole league. I'm going to step in and take Lamar. I'm not going to sit here and play a game with my franchise when I might lose my franchise. I'm not making ticket sales, jersey sale quotas because I don't have a quarterback. Atlanta would do so much more for their franchise giving him a fully guaranteed deal than not giving him one, not selling tickets, not selling jerseys, and having the franchise tank and just dissolve away. I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it on a small scale.
Well, I'm not 100%. I'm open-minded, Smitty. I'm not 100%. Saying it is that. I'm just saying it could be. There's a very possibility it could be. And then there also could be a possibility that the owners got together, and when they got together, the Ravens said, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna non-exclusive tag him, but if you come in with offers, we're gonna match it no matter what you do." And there could be teams that are saying, "Well, why even bother?" Because Baltimore committed to keeping him, and you could go down that road also. There's several different roads that could be happening, that could be going on down here, but I'm not going to close my mind at any of the possibilities. And collusion is a possibility. I'm not saying that it is happening. I'm just saying it is one of the possibilities, and I'm not trying to be closed-minded about this. And exactly what you were saying could be 100% true and right, and that could all come to fruition. I'm not saying that you're wrong in that.
No, and I will say there is 100% collusion going on, but I just don't think on a grand scale. Like, I'm almost agreeing with your stance, more than you think. Do I think one or two teams are trying to do this? Sure. I could almost even say that's a very strong possibility. But I'm saying on a grand scale, no one's locking arms. These poor teams, quarterback poor teams, on a grand scale, are not going to just do what the rich quarterback teams are going to tell them to do. This is interesting right here. A Jets trade, very solid move. Maybe not the one everyone was waiting on. Ian Rappaport talking about, let's see here, the Ravens are expected to trade safety Chuck Clark to the Jets in exchange for a late round draft pick compensation. Everyone's just on pins and needles about Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be interesting when Aaron Rodgers announced that he's not returning to the Jets and he wants the Green Bay Packers to begin the trade talks and facilitation with the New York Jets. I believe he does it right around the 15th. I think he's true to his word that he'll do it before free agency begins. And so everybody waiting. We probably know when it's going to be. It's probably going to be a day or two, or probably a day or two before the new league year begins, so he can give teams preparation time. I think it's fair. I think everyone thinks Rodgers is just ruining everybody's free agency experience, but he's doing it right before, like he said he would. And the Jets are preparing. They're on the brink, according to all the reports today.
I'm going to make a bold statement. I think we'll find out what Aaron Rodgers thinks by the end of the day.
We could. The Jets don't get Rodgers.
We'll know
yeah, but
Rodgers wants to go to the Jets or not.
Yeah, when in between now and the 15th, I don't know. It could be tonight. It could be in an hour from now. I agree with you. But I believe it will be before the 15th. That's what my point is. Because he said, I will let everyone know before the league year begins. The league year begins on the 15th. That's when free agent. So I fully believe Aaron Rodgers will be true to his word. It could happen tonight. It could happen in an hour. It could happen 2 days before. I think 2 or 3 days before seems about right, and we're close to that. We're like a day or two away from that. But if he lets us know today, that's true to his word. And I think it's going to be, we'll be live the moment it happens, but we won't be live announcing it's done. We'll be live announcing that Aaron Rodgers has probably said, hey, let's go. Let's make a trade. But I think...
What's your story? If you had to rank the stories, what would be how would you rank them? The A-Rod or Lamar? Which would be the biggest story? What does the chat think the biggest story is? Is it A-Rod or is it Lamar?
They're pretty equal, man. I mean, Lamar, there's so much conspiracy around it. It's a hot topic right now. Guaranteed money involved. Like you said, ownership concerns with that. Which are real. I don't want anybody to walk away from this thinking that I don't believe the owners are concerned about guaranteed money. We're all concerned about guaranteed money, but I just don't think teams would not negotiate with them. They may not give them a guaranteed deal. Like, I want people to really understand what I'm saying. They just can make this statement in an offer sheet. But I do believe some team's going to crumble and give them maybe not a fully guaranteed deal, but like $180 million guaranteed versus what the Ravens are probably offering them, 90 to 100. The $94 million guaranteed to Danny Dimes, I bet you, is where the Ravens were trying to land. And maybe they pushed it into the 100s, but I highly doubt they're anywhere close to 150 to 180 million guaranteed. And I think if a team said, hey, look, we're not going to guarantee it a $230 million guaranteed deal like Deshaun Watson, but we'll give you a chance to earn that very easily in incentives, and we'll give you 150 guaranteed, and we'll give you 110 guaranteed at signing. What you go to Lamar Jackson with at signing could influence his ability to take a fully guaranteed deal. I know he's standing firm on that, but he's going to need to see some offer sheets come in that set him in his place, and I think teams need to do that. That would make a statement. If we saw 4 teams offer not offer a fully guaranteed deal, that would make a big statement, and that would set Lamar in his place pretty quickly. If that's what they want to do. So hopefully that happens. But to answer your question, which story's bigger? Probably A-Rod. Probably A-Rod, because he's going to a big, huge market in New York. He's following the path of Brett Favre. What will happen with that story? Jets are a Super Bowl contending team. Will the Falcons be Super Bowl contenders if they get Lamar? No. But maybe in time, but no, not right away. Are the Carolina Panthers going to be? No. Whoever gets Lamar is probably not winning a Super Bowl. whoever gets Aaron Rodgers has a very strong, or if the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, they have a very strong shot at the Super Bowl. And if Aaron Rodgers even returns to Green Bay, that story is probably bigger than Lamar, because now the Jets aren't going to win a Super Bowl, and now the Green Bay Packers are going to get Aaron Rodgers back. And it's such a big song and dance anyway. People love talking about it. But they're huge. They're both huge. If both happened at the same time, I don't think somebody focus on one. I think they just rotate like me. I'd rotate through both of them because I know everybody wants to hear about both. But yeah, it's a good question. They're both huge.
If they both went down at the same time, maybe you'd be like in overdrive. We'd be watching you right now, and your head would be like, if it could swivel 360 degrees, you'd be just like boom, 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 boom. It'd be like fireworks going.
Yeah,
off.
let's hope.
Right.
Let's space. Actually, I wouldn't mind it. We could space it out a little bit, maybe, hopefully. But if not, I wouldn't mind it. I'd still be excited to report on it. Obviously, it'd be a crazy live stream. Keep saying it, Smitty. Put it in the universe. Look, I don't see how at this point the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers repair what's going on, but you never know. Like, it could be Aaron Rodgers. Like, we're all human beings. We know how quickly we can make a decision. Look at Tom Brady. I don't think he wanted to retire. Tom Brady retired on the beach. And it looked like Tom Brady didn't sleep. And it looked like Tom Brady didn't have a conversation with any of his trusted people. He was just on the beach by himself, early morning, doing the Jerry Maguire regretful memo. And I'm telling you, I think that's what he did the first time. I think that guy's coming back mid-season. And I don't know. It's crazy. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show with Ron, Navy, and Smitty. What's up, pal?
Mark, first-time caller, long-time listener.
Mark, what's up?
My question is, why wouldn't some of these teams refute what was said about them not being interested in Lamar?
Great question, first-time Mark. Appreciate you calling in. Because, bro, when you're on the clock at 1.2 in your rookie-only draft, and somebody at 1.1 or 1.3 asks you what you're going to do, is it in your best interest to tell them, and would you tell them what you're thinking, regardless of what people are saying about what you're going to do, regardless of what they think you may not do? Is it advisable for you at the one?
I would not tell it. Maybe.
Correct. So whether you want to refute it. So if someone thinks you don't want to go after Bijan Robinson at 1.2, are you gonna correct the record?
No, not as far as fantasy goes.
Yeah.
But if they might want to come out and let Lamar know, yeah, we are interested in you.
Because they can't. They're so afraid of tampering. I'm not saying that them saying we want Lamar is tampering, but like, I don't think these teams have any interest in A, letting people know where they're going. B, they can't like, they could come out and say, hey, we haven't actually made a decision on that. I agree, but why would they want to do that? Why would they want to let people know they're coming? And there's no way to communicate with Lamar. They can't say, hey, Lamar, we want you to know we do want you. That they can't do that. But can they come out and say, hey, that report earlier that we have no interest in a quarterback or Lamar, we didn't say that. That's still not in their best interest, because now everyone goes, wait. They want him. They want him. Maybe we need to get into this game. Like if it's me, I'm going, everyone thinks we're out. Okay, when the 15th comes, I'm picking up that phone. I'm calling Mama Lamar Jackson. I'm calling Mama right away. I'm gonna get on the phone with Mama Lamar, and I'm gonna start sweet talking and saying, hey, we'll take care of your son. These reports are awful. These reports are awful that we're seeing. We'll protect him, Mama Lamar. We'll protect him.
Great show, Smitty. Thank you very much. I enjoy your show so much.
Hey, appreciate you, first time, Mark. I got you in the phone system, so when you call, I'll see you coming. Do you got anything else while you're on the phone, bro?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Ron, you got anything to add to that?
No, I would think it'd be awesome to see, like, I don't think it'll happen, but see like a team like Tennessee come out and break those bonds. If any of those other teams made a bond,
I'd love to see Tennessee come out and break that and put an offer out.
Yeah.
I mean, they got ridiculed for the A.J. Brown deal and all that, and they know their future doesn't lie with Tannehill and it doesn't lie with Malik Willis. So why not? Why not go after Lamar?
Yeah. And it would be
keep Henry and bring in Lamar. You got a young young talent around there. You got a young receiver that's just, why not?
I would do it. If I was Tennessee, I'd do it. I do think that to first time Mark who just called in, to his point or around his question, I guess, to support what he said. If a team like Tennessee did do that, Mark, maybe it would resonate with Lamar in a way that he goes, you know what? That's the only team that stood up. And if they do come with an offer that maybe is a little lesser than I want, you know what? I might even take it because this team at least had the balls to come out and support me in that fashion. So first time, Mark, you could be correct to a degree, but I think in general, it's good practice to be like, okay, if the enemy thinks we're going this way, let them, let them think whatever they want. But to Mark's question and to Ron Navy's point, it would be something to see a team support him, and that might go a whole long way. I think Willis should get an entire season to prove it, says East Coast Tatty. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about him. I liked him, but he didn't exactly do what we wanted. But, I mean, what rookie quarterback does? And he didn't get a shot. He didn't get a fair shot. So I agree that it would be nice to see it, but Tennessee should try and go for Lamar. But if they trade Derrick Henry, then they're obviously not going to. Wouldn't it be funny if Lamar and A-Rod stay on their teams and all this exercise? And, yeah, it could be all for nothing, bro, at the end of the day. Who knows? I mean, look at Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady was such a letdown when he retired. It was like, oh, God, And then if Lamar and A-Rod don't move, it'll be a very boring offseason to a degree, even though it's been ultra exciting up to that point. It will be like we're shooting blanks at the end. 120 of you in here. Please punch that thumb up button. It helps the channel out. Appreciate you. What's up, Frank? Appreciate you being here. Mitch, Lamar, too much at stake to tip your hand, says Space Ricky, in reference to, trying to correct the record of these teams not being in on Lamar. I mean, it's crazy. I see reports out there where people are also kind of questioning this, but I see more reports about people just jumping to the collusion topic, which is why I think I rant on it, because while there could be collusion involved, I think it's such a crazy thing that the poorest quarterback teams are going to be the ones doing it. Like, that's just crazy, man. To me.
What's crazy is Atlanta was just all in last year, and all of a sudden they still need a quarterback. They're still in the same. All these teams are still in the same position, and just how quickly all these same teams came out and were like, we're not interested. And I get that, but what's exciting about this, and I think we all can agree, is just able to talk about this until we actually find out what actually happens and what transpires with Rodgers, with Lamar and all that. I mean, this is fun stuff to talk about and to speculate about, and this is the fun part of the offseason, is it not? I mean, after, let's say, Lamar gets done and Rodgers gets done, then we turn to the rookie draft coming up, right?
I love it.
We got all that stuff coming up.
I love it. I live for it.
I mean, this is awesome. No matter what your take is on it, the conversations on it are just awesome to have.
Yeah, I live for it, man. It's exciting stuff to me. That's why, I know some people get tired of talking about A-Rod, but it's got big ramifications. And there's so many moving parts to it too, so it's just exciting. Anybody else want to call in? We got 121 people in the building. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. I work for you. And we're doing it live. I may not always be right. I know I rant and rave a lot, but at least I'm passionate about what I believe. And am I going to be right all the time? No. Could I be wrong on this? Certainly, I guess it's possible. All I know is you what?
If anybody hasn't seen your idea, that was funny. Your I found A-Rod video, and maybe you can show that. I don't know if you can or not, but that was hilarious.
Yeah, it's on my Instagram. That guy looks identical to A-Rod. He looks identical to
Yeah.
This guy's a ringer for A-Rod. He's not joking. He's not trying to impersonate A-Rod. It's just some like lead singer of some strange band. And he's like, he's talking about his debut performance somewhere. It looks like A-Rod. It's on my stories on my Instagram, The Fantasy Football Show. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's got to be where he's been. It's got to be A-Rod. It's got to be his brother. Maybe that's A-Rod's brother. I don't know. It looks exactly like him.
I laughed my butt off there.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. All right, what do you guys got? Dial in if you've got a question. Dial in. Let's go, says All Gas. I'm excited, man. A-Rod is getting traded. I firmly believe it. It's on the brink is such the right word for it. I think. I really do think it's on the brink. But it's on the brink of being announced that he wants to leave. And then the interesting part is going to be how's the conversation go between the Green Bay Packers and the Jets. What an awkward trade. You like, hey, it's the Green Bay Packers. Hey guys, it's Green Bay. We're just wondering if you're interested in A-Rod. Like, how does this trade happen? How does it happen? Because you're holding the Green Bay Packers over the coals essentially. Like or the Jets. You could say the other way. You could say the other way around. Like both of them know what they want to do. Like how do you negotiate a deal like that? That's gonna be crazy. Why you keep saying A-Rod? Nobody calls Rodgers A-Rod. That's a baseball player. Matthew, everyone calls him A-Rod. What are you talking about? You get out of here with your baseball.
Hey, that's something. Mitch put a comment in there, and yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. When is your new intern stuff coming out? When are you releasing that? When's that going to be ready to go?
You want me to be completely honest with you? Why there's a delay? Yeah, I don't think it's gonna shock anybody. I'm waiting on Grant. I'm not even lying. This isn't part of like the sitcom or the humor of it. I'm literally waiting on Grant. Grant, if you're watching, I'm waiting on you. Like always, Grant. Like always, disappointing the show, Grant.
All right. Well, that's fair enough. That
yeah. I very very soon. I'm hoping I had to push it back until hopefully the sitcom episode 5 airs in April. I'm hoping in April. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, on my main YouTube homepage, you can watch my sitcom. It's like The Office meets The League, and a lot of time goes into it. So please spread the word.
And this, when I first found your channel, right, and I watched a few shows, and then I started like looking at your page, and I saw that. I watched the first episode, and I thought it was like 100% like reality. That's what you wanted. Your whole goal in life was to take over ESPN. I didn't know it was like a series, a comical series that you were doing. And I know there's some truth, and you put a lot of truth into it too, because I know like,
you don't know what's true.
Goals,
you don't know what's true.
I loved it. That show made me laugh so bad.
Thank you. Guys, go watch the sitcom.
That was one of the, after watching that helped me convince me that I was going to become a Smitty regular.
That's good to hear. Guys, go watch the sitcom. It's on the homepage. This guy says, fantasy football so-called experts are fraud, scammers, sheep. Huh. Interesting. Good. Hey, good story, pal. Next. That's hilarious, Ron. Smitty, get that guy out of here. What a troll. I call him AA. Great. Still trying to sell Smitty's mom that pen. He is, bro. First started watching your channel mid-season. What the F is a Moon Man? And why does he keep playing that? Ha ha ha, says Blake. Anybody want to dial in? Dial in. If that guy wants to dial in about the fantasy football people being frauds, go ahead. Go ahead. Come and argue your point.
Hey, now, would you think, and I know this is more of a question that would be good for your Dynasty channel more so because it's more about the rookie players in the combine, but watching that, did you pay any attention? I mean, what do you think of Laporta? I thought he had a really good combine and he increased his stock as one of the tight ends that really weren't talked about. And the other one was I was kind of impressed was Puka Nakaru, that receiver. I thought he had and we haven't talked about either one of those guys, but
yeah, I like both of them. It just comes down to draft capital. Like, will teams? I would, but I don't have a phone. Okay. Let's see here. It comes down to draft capital. Are neither are projected to go really high, but that doesn't mean that if we find their landing spots attractive, then they become sleeper candidates for sure. Kind of like the one guy that impressed me the most that I liked a lot. I loved him in college, but I wasn't too sure what to make of him because of his small stature was Deuce Vaughn. But Deuce Vaughn carried himself in a big way. He didn't look like a tiny back. He didn't look like Darren Sproles. He looked like almost a full-size, regular-size, smaller, regular-size workhorse running back. Like he looked honestly as big as ETN or bigger, even though the measurables wouldn't probably support that. But Deuce Vaughn looked really good. Deuce Vaughn's one of those players very similar to what you're talking about. Like landing spot's going to determine how high he ranks, on my rankings. So I could get behind drafting Deuce Vaughn very high in a dynasty rookie only mock draft, depending on his landing spots. So much depends on the landing spots. I only started watching
Terrell Scott, but you know what? I don't think he had a great combine. I was really disappointed in his combine. I was really disappointed in his 40. I saw him. I was watching him going out and seeing him miss some catches he should have had. So he didn't help his stock at all, as far as I'm concerned. I was huge on him, and he kind of he disappointed me in his combine performance.
Yeah. I thought he ran a bad first 40 time, and then he ran a good second 40 time. But he looked quick on his drills, to be honest, Ron. I wasn't that disappointed with him. I think a lot of people said he upped his draft stock.
His best drill was the gauntlet drill, I thought.
Yeah,
his best drill. The other I was kind of lacklustered with.
Let's see here.
And that's coming. You know how high I was on him. Not Travis Scott, no, Terrell Scott.
Take a lap, Marquez. Take a lap, Marquez. Let's see here. Breeze got broken to pieces.
I love that. I love you too, Marquez.
Yeah. Just kill him with kindness, Ron. Smitty is... Thank you. Hey.
No matter what you do in life, you're always going to have people that like you, and you're always going to have people that detest you, no matter who you are and what you do. That's fine.
Butte was a disappointing one. Zach Wilson just wants A-Rod's wife. No, bro, he only dates moms. What are you talking about? He wants... I guess A-Rod's wife is the age of most quarterbacks' moms, though. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, Zach Wilson does target the Cougars in the mill.
Okay, we got a special guest here. It's the Voss. The Voss is calling in, the voice of the fantasy football show. What's going on, Voss? What's up, pal?
What's going on, my friend? Hey, Ron Navy, how you doing? I've been listening to the show, and I'm telling you.
Boss, awesome to hear you, brother. It's great.
Hey, right back to you, man. I'm here just listening, taking it easy, and I had to call in because, Smitty, you are all over this quarterback situation that's going on, where Aaron Rodgers is going, where Lamar Jackson is going. I'm going to be honest with you. If it was me, the first thing I would do is fire my mother. You can't have your mother making $1 million contract decisions for you. Are you kidding me?
She just wants a piece.
He needs to get... Huh?
She just wants a piece of it.
Yeah, she wants to get paid. So pay her and tell her, look, Mom, I appreciate it. You raised me. I'm out. I got to get a professional. Because whoever Daniel Jones is using to get him $100 million 4-year contract or $140 million?
$94 million guaranteed going to Danny Dimes.
$94 million guaranteed. You know what the Giants fans are going to be guaranteed? Losses. The dude sucks. I'm sorry. I live in Jersey, and I watched Daniel Jones progress. He hasn't progressed. He's still Daniel Jones. He's gun shy. He doesn't have that killer instinct that you need.
Yeah, it's a lot of money
that Mahomes has. That's what I say.
But can we all admit that Danny Dimes getting $94 million guaranteed doesn't bode well for the argument that the entire league is against Lamar getting $200 million guaranteed or $180 million guaranteed? If Danny Dimes can get 94, and these contracts have been progressively climbing, I just don't see how. Like, I get they don't want to give him a fully guaranteed deal. Like, let's say they want to sign him to a 5-year, $350 million deal. I get that. But to give him Deshaun Watson's guaranteed money or near it is not going to be a problem for teams in a year from now. Or once Hurts and Burrow sign their deal, the new benchmark set. And that's that. Like, once Hurts gets $200 million guaranteed, 200 plus, once Burrow gets $200 plus million guaranteed, that benchmark set, it's over. This is all irrelevant. Like Lamar doesn't have to get $350 million guaranteed. But if he signs a $350 million deal and gets $195 or $200 or $210 guaranteed, that's par for the course moving forward. It's going to be. So he wants Deshaun Watson money. He can get it, but he can get it on a bigger contract that's not fully guaranteed. That's kind of the way that I feel like this is going to go.
Perfect. That's well said, Smitty. I agree 100%.
Yeah. What do you think about Derek Carr, though? Do you think he's similar to Danny Dimes?
Oh, my God. That's another guy. Who is his agent? I'm telling you, these agents are doing some backdoor deals that nobody knows about. Now, Derek Carr's an average quarterback at best. He's not a superstar. Is he worth that kind of money? To me, no. But I'm not paying him. Those fans that buy those expensive tickets and those GMs who have endless amounts of money, they're paying this guy. I wouldn't.
I think Derek Carr is more worth the deal than Danny Dimes. I think Derek Carr, at least he's proven productive. But do I think Derek Carr wins the Saints a championship? No. So then you got to ask yourself, was it worth it, I guess, at the end of the day? But I do like Derek Carr enough. And you don't have to agree with me. Like, Voss, this is what makes the world go around is a different opinion. So I appreciate yours. But I kind of like Derek Carr. From a fantasy perspective, I do. I don't think the Saints are winning championships. But from a fantasy perspective, feeding Devontae Adams, what was it, 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns, 100 receptions. Chris Olave to the moon. To the straight absolute moon. Let's go.
To the moon.
Definitely. I agree 100% there. Chris Olave to the moon. Now, what about Jameson Williams? what's his name? Jameis. He's still there.
Jameis. Yeah.
Jameis.
Winston.
Yeah. What are they going to do with him?
He's going to get cut. Or I doubt he gets traded. He'll probably get cut. Marquez, you done with your lap yet?
Who picks him up?
Boss, I got a question for you. Being in Georgia,
yeah, go ahead, Ron Navy.
Is the Giants your
Well, no,
team?
I'm not. No. I live in Jersey, and I have to listen to all these Jerseyans talk about how great the Giants are. No. I'm a Philly fan. I'm an Eagles fan, and I was disappointed. I was very disappointed at what transpired with them.
Yeah.
With this.
I'm a Steelers fan, normally against Philly, but
Yeah.
I was rooting for Philly. I was disappointed too. But
it was really.
You think, really, with Danny Dimes, I mean, Drabel, he's like quarterback whisperer. He's like Peterson down there in Jacksonville. With these quarterbacks, they can make something out of nothing, and just his progression in the last year since Dable got there, you don't think he's capable of Drabel? I mean, just molding him into like a top tier quarterback. I mean, you don't think that's a possibility?
You know, Ron, you make a good point, and I agree. That is a possibility.
I love how Ron calls him
Danny
Drabel.
Dimes has
Drop
to
it,
change his
Dreidel.
mindset. He's too nice of a guy. He's like the Manning, Eli. Eli Manning, soft-spoken, easygoing, never had that killer instinct. You got to get that killer instinct. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I tell you, one person that's pissed is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's been busting his butt for years, running the ball and doing this and doing that.
You know that.
And now Danny Dimes gets $40 million, and he gets 10.
You know, Saquon feels similar to your Eagles. Like you were just one play away, type of thing.
Yes.
Saquon was reaching for free agency. He was just literally reaching, and I'd go up, lick my hand and slap Danny Dimes right on the back of the head. So, way to go, Danny.
Because Danny Dimes gets 40.
Just screw Barkley.
And Barkley gets franchise and $10 million.
Maybe Danny slides Saquon some extra cash on the side for Christmas present or whatever.
Better buy him like a
you're damn right.
ATVs.
Or one play when Danny Dimes when Saquon's supposed to block that blitzing linebacker, he says, "Oh man, I can't afford to do that." Career decision.
Austin has a good comment here that I want to get your guys' take on. Real quickly, rapid fire responses. Guys, give us some rapid fire questions. Only rapid fire, no long answers. One sentence, one breath.
Right.
Austin says, only thing that matters is this offseason if Mac Jones losing his job to Zappy. Do we think that Mac Jones even starts 6 games this year? I say Zappy starts at some point, but yeah, I think he doesn't start. He doesn't start 10 games, let's say.
I agree.
He's another one. He's worse than Danny Dimes.
Yeah, I'm not.
He was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. Calvin Ridley to the moon is a question from Life Sports. What do you think, Ron Navy?
What's that?
Calvin Ridley to the moon?
I think Calvin Ridley, I think that there's a lot of possibilities if him and T-Lock can form a cohesiveness and get on the same page. Yeah, Ridley and Kirk, and then you mix in Jay Jones, and they franchise tagged Ingram. So I think they're going to be strong again this year.
Rapid fire, Ron. Rapid fire. The Voss. Ridley to the moon.
Yes.
Okay.
No doubt. Teamed up with the quarterback and also Christian Kirk on the outside. Oh yeah.
Would the Vikings trade for D Hop? I'm going to say
no.
Possible, but probably not. I would say probably not. I think D Hop is probably going to a team that needs more of a wide receiver one. Not saying he's got a lot of time left or that he can't be an excellent wide receiver two for a team. Like, they'd be smart for a team. Look, like I said with Derrick Henry, regardless of how many games I think Derrick Henry can actually stay healthy this year, teams are incompetent if they don't surrender a second-round pick for Derrick Henry and try and win a Super Bowl this year. There are 5, 6, 7 teams that should be clamoring at that idea and concept and should be trying to execute it, looking at the Christian McCaffrey blueprint for the 49ers, who would not have even made the playoffs without Christian McCaffrey. So these teams should be doing this. And teams should feel just embarrassed that allow other team, the team that actually executes on it, to acquire DeAndre Hopkins. Like, the Bills should get him. The Bengals, everybody that's in a playoff contending position should be getting DeAndre Hopkins for a second or a third round pick or 2/3. Absolutely crazy. But do I think the Vikings will actually trade for him? No.
At the backyard.
Ron, rapid fire. Hopkins?
Ron Navy, go ahead.
Cowboys.
Hello?
Hopkins to the Cowboys. The Voss, where do you think Hopkins is? Hang on, caller. 1 second.
I say Hopkins to Cleveland, reuniting him with Deshaun Watson.
I'd say Hopkins to, it's going to be either Chicago or it's going to be Green Bay if Aaron Rodgers did return. But I don't think Aaron Rodgers will, so give me Chicago catching footballs from Fields. All right, we got another caller on the line here from the 813. Who are we talking to, pal?
This is Buck School Gang in the chat.
Who?
Buck School Gang in the house, in the chat.
Oh, what's up, man? What can we do for you?
What's up? Man, Adam Tillman just got released. That's why I said D-Hop could go to the Vikings now.
Yeah, let's see here.
Who got released?
Adam Thielen?
Yeah, he just got released.
Okay,
He
yeah.
just got
Oh, wow.
Well, it says
I
there's a
didn't
real.
hear that
Well,
one.
no, he didn't get released yet. He said it says there's a real possibility the Vikings and Adam Thielen will
Oh.
part ways. You're jumping.
Most likely, though.
You're jumping the gun a little bit.
Most likely,
Yeah,
though.
I was about to say I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
Most likely,
I mean,
though.
Yeah, there's a real
Yeah, most
possibility.
likely. And
Real possibility.
Thielen would go right to New England Patriots.
Yeah, I can see that. That's where
Can't you
that's
see-
where
you
players
can
go
see
to
that?
die too. That's where players go to
Man.
fall off the map.
Man, as a Bucks fan this year, it's going to be a stressful year.
Yeah, possibility of the Vikings and Adam Thielen parting ways.
Man, I'm going to be depressed this year.
Did you say you were a Bucks fan or a Vikings fan?
Yeah, I'm a Bucks fan.
Oh, well, you got Rashard White to the moon.
Yeah. Man,
They let go
but-
Leonard Fournette. They let go Uncle Lenny.
I know.
Hey,
But
let me read this. Let me read this Ian Rappaport tweet right here. Complicating factor. If a team signs Lamar Jackson to an offer sheet, Baltimore has 5 days to match it. That knocks that team essentially out of free agency and loses them the other available QBs because they're paralyzed in cap space just waiting. What he's trying to say there is that if a team does slap an offer sheet on Lamar, there's 5 days where teams could scoop up Wentz and all these other quarterbacks, Jimmy G. And so he's just making a point that could be a complicating factor. But that, I don't know. At the end of the day, it matters if a team wants to go all in on Lamar. They go all in. Yeah. Worrying about this might even make a team less likely to lowball Lamar, and they want to almost go high so that the Ravens don't match it, and then they get left without Lamar, and then they get left without Wentz or Jimmy or whatever. I don't know that's going to, like I said, influence. When a team wants a player, a team wants a player. Jets want Aaron Rodgers. They sacrificed, in some ways, even though a lot of people said Derek Carr didn't even want to talk numbers yet when he met with the Jets. He was looking at fit. He wanted to go see the Saints again. He wanted to keep talking to different teams. But the Jets were willing to sacrifice losing potentially Carr because they wanted A-Rod so bad. So I don't know. It's a good point, though, and it does make you wonder, okay, if a team doesn't necessarily initially offer, they might be looking at these other quarterbacks first and then come around and offer.
Would it be a dark horse team for Aaron Rodgers nobody's talking about?
Aaron Rodgers for where? What?
Where do you think he can go besides the Jets?
He's only desire is the Jets from what we know. So if the Jets said, hey, we don't want you anymore, he would probably go back to Green Bay or retire. I'm getting 0 sense he wants to go to Las Vegas. I suppose if the Jets were out all of a sudden, like let's say they just remember when Russell Wilson signed with Denver, Russell Wilson got traded to Denver, and we were like, whoa, Aaron Rodgers was on his way to Denver. Wait a minute, what happened? And then it was like, I bet you Aaron Rodgers himself was like, whoa, I got to back into Green Bay. That's what I feel like really happened. We'll never really know. Maybe he'll talk more about it someday. But I firmly believe he dragged his feet long enough to where Denver made a reaction. So, like, could the Jets do something like that? It's certainly possible. And could Aaron Rodgers explore Las Vegas? Maybe. But I think he probably, given Aaron Rodgers' ability to get to point B from point A, it's a real slow, thoughtful process. I doubt he makes a knee-jerk reaction to go to Las Vegas. I think his reaction would be, I'll just go back to Green Bay. No big deal.
Play with Adam. Vegas.
What?
Is it the 15th that all teams are required to be under the salary cap?
Yeah, the new league year starts on the 15th.
Yep. Well, you want to play with Adam?
The salary cap.
I'm sorry. Does Aaron Rodgers want to play with Adams? I mean, I'm sure at the end of the day he doesn't mind it. Like, let's say Green Bay said, okay, let me give you a scenario. If Aaron Rodgers finds out tomorrow the Jets are no longer interested, and the Green Bay Packers say, well, we were so into this thing, going forward, we started talking to Jordan Love. We're going to go ahead and move on with Jordan Love. I'm sorry, A-Rod. Where else do you want to go? He would contemplate retirement, I think, more than he was. But do I think he could settle on Las Vegas if he had his heart set on playing? Yeah. I think they would be the next choice, but it'd have to be in that order of things happening, and that's very unlikely. But does he want to play with Adams? I'm sure it's a fine destination. He hasn't shot down Las Vegas in a negative way. And when he was out there golfing, and everybody was like, "Come to Las Vegas," he had a whole bunch of fun with the Raider fans. And I have a feeling he doesn't have a crazy objection to it. I think it just comes down to, can he see himself winning a Super Bowl in Las Vegas where Derek Carr couldn't do it, and everybody's blaming Derek Carr, acting like Derek Carr is some horrible quarterback. And no worry, Voss. I know you don't love Derek Carr, and you don't need to worry about having a different opinion on here. I appreciate you, but I just think Derek Carr got such a raw end of the deal because he had a bottom four defense his entire reign in Oakland and Las Vegas. It's a long time he was in that Raiders uniform, and they had a piss poor defense the entire time. And so Aaron Rodgers, I fully believe is looking at that situation and saying, I can only do so much with it. I could definitely throw good numbers onto the table. I definitely could feed Adams 1,500 yards and 12 to 15 TDs, 100 receptions. I can throw for 4,000 yards. I can maybe even win an MVP. He seriously could, even if he didn't win a Super Bowl, even if they made the playoffs but lost in round one. He knows he can't take that team. I think in his heart of hearts, he knows he can't take that team all the way. The New York Jets have, in my opinion, the number one defense in the entire National Football League. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. Which one would have been Rookie of the Year? Offensive Rookie of the Year? We don't even know. They're both so good. Sauce Gardner, best cornerback in the league, not just rookie cornerback.
Yeah.
Best cornerback in the entire National Football League. And so, I mean, why would anybody not want to go to the New York Jets? I love all the Jets are the Jets. People laugh and say the Jets are a quarterback away. Are you kidding, Smitty? They're the Jets, bro. The Jets have one of the most exciting teams in the National Football League. The only reason it's not dominating right now, even in the offseason, winning games, is because it doesn't have a signal caller. And Aaron Rodgers, you can say he's a choke artist all you want. You can say he's not going to win a Super Bowl. What are you going to say? Drop your receipt, come back and tell me, oh, yeah, I didn't say that Aaron Rodgers can't win a Super Bowl in New York. Drop your receipt. Do it. Put it on screen right now.
You just preached, Smitty. You said it all right there.
You have to Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, all the great quarterbacks in the
Wait, hold on.
They are the best quarterbacks, all right? They've already proven themselves. But the Jets have always been this team that's 1-2 players away. Last year was proven. Garrett Wilson is just phenomenal. If he did what he did with the people that he had throwing the ball, Joe Old Man Flacco. I mean, this guy is older than dirt. He can still wing the ball, but Zach Wilson.
let me clarify.
Kid, hold on. Let me finish.
Yeah,
let me finish.
The Voss. I'm sorry, Voss.
Wait, I mean, huh?
You go. The Voss. Go.
I don't know who that was.
That was me. That's right. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. The
No.
delay is messing me up, Smitty. My
Go.
bad.
The Voss.
But
You're
I
right.
was just saying. Go ahead.
No, you.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
Zach Wilson is not going to change. I don't think. I don't know. This guy has some kind of fear. It's called I don't want to get hit. That's what it's called. It's fear. He just looks for an out. He runs. He's all there. He throws the ball. He reminds me of an old Fran Tarkenton. Remember Fran Tarkenton? He used to run around about the same size as Zach Wilson. And he just winged the ball, but he had guys that could catch. Well, these guys were getting their heads blown up, trying to catch his passes because he would throw them so damn high they'd have to jump, leave their feet, and get blasted. So if you get Aaron Rodgers, this guy releases the ball in 2 to 3 seconds. That ball's out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have a guy like Garrett Wilson playing the slot. Oh, my goodness. And that Elijah Moore?
Yeah, Elijah Moore. He's very underrated.
And the running back that got hurt? Oh, no telling what they would have done last year if that running back was got hurt.
All right,
Now.
caller, we can barely hear you. Let's let the other caller talk real quick. I can barely hear him. What are you saying about Mahomes, and what are you saying right now?
I said they got 2 good running backs, the Jets.
Yeah, but what were you saying about Mahomes earlier?
Yeah, what I'm saying, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the AFC, it's going to be a lot harder road to get to.
Yeah, but we also thought the AFC West was going to be the toughest division we've ever seen in our lives, bro, and it was not.
Yep.
So I think that a guy like Aaron Rodgers is looking at, okay, I can stay in Green Bay, I can win my division very easily, and I can lose in the first or second round, or I can go to the New York Football Jets, easily win a wild card spot, in my opinion, even if you can't win the division, let's say. Then you grab a wild card spot, and your defense, all you need to do is get a shot. All you need to do is take one game at a time. And maybe they can win the division. Like when I said the Bengals would win the division 2 years ago, I got laughed at. Like who says the Jets can't win the division with Aaron Rodgers? They most certainly could. But I think Aaron Rodgers clinches a playoff berth through the wild card at least, and then it's one game at a time. And as long as you can make the playoffs, who cares how hard the road is to get in? Once you're in, it's one game at a time. And defense wins championships. Defense wins playoff games. And if you can mix defense with an elite quarterback, and I just can't wait for him to potentially, and I'm not saying he'll win a Super Bowl in year one. So him going to the New York Jets, in my opinion, if I'm the Jets, I'm going to ask him. They can't require him, but ask him to say, can you commit to us for 2 years? Can you, I know you things change or whatever, your body, whatever, but like if you feel like you can actually physically play, can you commit to 2 years? Because we may almost get there. We may fall short in year one as we try and build the cohesiveness, and we got Breece Hall coming off an ACL tear, and maybe he takes half a year to get fully going and we just miss the playoffs or whatever. It's very possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility to have a Detroit Lions season where it's like, holy crap, this team looks really good. It fell short, but it looks really good and promising. I think they will make the playoffs. I think they can make a Super Bowl run, but give him 2 years. When I say he could win a Super Bowl, give him 2 years. I hope he plays 2 more years. And if he does, I think the defense wins this Super Bowl. I think Aaron Rodgers, obviously a big reason why. Breece Hall, a big reason why. Garrett Wilson, a big reason why. But this defense is insane. And what makes a defense better? An offense that can control the ball, control the clock, and put the defense in good field position. Not just have the defense put the offense in good field position. They're gonna cascade back and forth and help each other. And this defense that is, in a lot of people's eyes, top 5 is really number 1. It's just tired. It's just always on the field comparatively to what it would be doing and how it would be operating under an Aaron Rodgers commanded
Do you
squad.
think the Jets would trade Zach Wilson or did keep him on the bench?
I mean, they'll probably have to keep him on the bench. However, it's such a dry QB, free agency pool to be honest, there's not a lot of good, winning. Like you could say Jimmy's a winner. I don't want to hear it though. There's not a lot of potential winning quarterbacks that are in this free agency pool. Like Mike White's attractive to bring on, but you don't really know what you're getting. Wentz, he's failed
Joe
wherever
Flacco
he's.
is.
You what?
Joe Flacco.
Who's that? Who's Joe Flacco, bro?
Joe Flacco.
Who's Joe Flacco? His own son doesn't even know who he is. His own son says, "Dad," it makes fun of him and says, "You're gonna fail, Dad. You're gonna fail," and he jokes about it. But it's like Joe Flacco, bro. He's not. He's a spectator at this point.
Yeah,
How about
he's an
how about
assistant coach.
Phillip Rivers return? Phillip Rivers might return.
Hey, you want me to tell you something? Wouldn't shock me if Phillip Rivers, or I wouldn't be shocked if people start talking about Andrew Luck. I wouldn't be shocked if Andrew Luck at some point kicked around coming back. I'm not saying he will, but I think Andrew Luck is, what is he, 33? How old is Andrew Luck? Ziggy,
I don't know.
how old is Andrew Luck?
He's still fairly young.
I think he's about 32, 33.
Hold on. Ziggy, how old is Andrew Luck?
Andrew Luck is 33 years old.
33.
And was born on September 12, 1989.
When I say Andrew Luck coming back and people laugh like, "Oh, that was stupid." He's 33 years old. He's 33 years old.
That's a wonderful age.
I won't be surprised if Calvin Kaepernick come back.
No. He's been.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was never that good.
He's been decommissioned.
He
might be still a great talent, but his policies and what he thinks of doesn't fit the NFL anymore, and they moved on from him. He might be given a chance in a Canadian league.
Yeah, the NFL has boycotted Kaepernick. Let's be honest about that. But
I wish they could bring Tim Tebow back.
No, Tim Tebow wasn't.
No.
Yeah, no. All right.
I think Aaron.
All right. Enough of those. What, Ron?
Hey, now we're really talking fantasy football.
Yeah,
this
now we're in
is
fantasy land.
football. If I've ever heard fantasy football, calling up names like that.
I think Aaron Rodgers has a better chance to win the division with the Jets than he does with Green Bay if he were to go back to Green Bay. Detroit,
Yeah, you
I
want
agree.
the Vikings?
Minnesota's strong, and I think
Agree.
the only competition he's going to have if he goes to the Jets is going to be the Bills, because if Miami does not draft the Tua quarterback and go with Tua and don't really have a plan for anything else, Miami's not going to be in it. New England's not going to be in it. So I think it's the Jets and Bills conference between those two to win. And I think it's a three-team race in the NFC North.
Hey, mark my words,
The
ladies and
Bears?
gentlemen. Mark my words. Tom Brady's gonna play again. It's bold. I know it's bold. It's not like a guarantee, but this is my bold prediction. Tom Brady returns, and I've said this 100 times. So you probably already know what I'm going to say, but to the Niners or to the Miami Dolphins, whichever team is going to be, quarterback destroyed, week 10, 11, 12, whatever the deadline is of him coming back.
How about the Bucs? You come back to Tampa Bay?
I mean, it depends. I doubt the Bucs are winning and have playoff positioning without Tom Brady. So I'm going to say no.
Weak. You guys don't think about that. The NFC South is weak.
It is, but I don't think he comes. Maybe it's possible. It's possible, but I believe that he comes back as a Niner or he comes back as a Miami Dolphin, because I think those teams. Caller, I missed your call. Dial in again. I think those teams are very likely to be in a playoff spot when something devastating happens at the tail end of a very vigorous season, and the way Tua's likelihood to stay upright, not get a concussion, very slim to me. But maybe he gets through 10 games and they're in good positioning. And then same thing with the Niners. The Niners keeping Trey Lance and Purdy healthy, it just seems like a disaster waiting to happen. And so
How about Brock Purdy?
What'd you say?
How about Brock Purdy?
What about him?
At a quarterback.
What about him?
He might be good this year. You think he'll be ready to go
He's
this
got
year?
He got a torn UCL. His arm was so swollen because your head coach put him back in the game with a total UCL tear and had him throwing 30 to 40 practice passes on the sideline. He has such swelling in his UCL. He still until this moment hasn't been able to have surgery. It's been so destroyed and swollen. So I don't know what's going to happen with Brock Purdy. He's trying to get a bridge put in.
Does Jimmy come back?
They're doing surgery. We have no idea. He's going to have surgery. I think he needs to have Tommy John surgery so his arm's stronger than ever. But he's going to have like some kind of bridge technique put in, and who knows what that's going to do longevity wise. But no, Brock Purdy's no lock for anything. Don't listen to a report that says he's going to be ready for week 1. We're in the middle of March. March to April, May, June, July, August, September 15. If we're looking at a full 6 months, September 15 is when this guy might be, if all goes well with his bridge that they're putting in, might be ready to go out there and start zinging some balls around. But at that point, Trey Lance is under center. Trey Lance is in there. I think Trey Lance could be pulled very early because he's being set up to fail, and his coach wants to run him as a dual threat. What?
I heard Baker Mayfield could go to the Niners or the Bucks.
Who to the Niners? I can barely hear you, pal.
I said Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
Oh my God! Come on, this is fantasy football big time. From who? Who are you listening to?
As a third quarterback. As a third quarterback, maybe.
The only person you need to listen to is Smitty.
No,
I've never heard Smitty say anything about Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is a fill-in quarterback.
Could they bring in someone like that as a third quarterback? Sure, but I hear from Niner fans all the time things like we should go after Lamar, or we should get Derek Carr, or all these fairy tale like solutions to the quarterback situation. Derek Carr obviously was going to go get paid bank. I don't know why anybody thought anywhere that he could come in and compete and be a backup. That was kicked around a lot. Jimmy G's going to get starting money, whether anybody believes in him or not. So Jimmy G's going to go get starting money. He can't come back and be your Niner quarterback because you guys can't pay him the amount of money he's going to get. Plus, he doesn't want a cloudy situation. He's tired of that. He's going to a lone starting location where he can be the lone starter. Baker as your third quarterback, I mean, it depends on if he gets signed somewhere. He had a little bit of success last year, so he may get an opportunity. I don't believe in him. I don't think Baker is a good long-term option at all. You guys are looking at Brissett, bro. You're looking at Brissett. You're looking at a quarterback that you could sign that can maybe win a game or two. You don't have the luxury, or you're not going to probably spend the money, I don't think, on a third quarterback when you've got two.
Bucks need a veteran quarterback. That's all we need, really, for Bucks.
I don't know, bro. The Bucks couldn't win with Tom Brady, and you can blame it on Tom Brady all you want and say he fell off, but
last season he had a divorce. He going through marriage problems. He going through.
Yeah, he's still going through all that.
That's called life. Everybody goes through life.
He's still going through all that.
You got to go through what you got to go through. But I tell you what, hey Smitty, let me ask you this. Let's change. I don't mind. I don't mean to change the subject, but I'm gonna change the subject. What about this kid? Anthony Robinson, they call him AR-15.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Richardson.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, this kid. Whoa. I don't know. Where do you think he's going?
Hold on one second. Ron Navy dropping a $20 hauler. I don't know if you know, but our Make It Rain machine, we've Jimmy rigged it with a bigger battery. This thing shoots 30 bills a second. Thank you, Ron Navy. Appreciate you. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ron Navy to the moon.
Go ahead, boss.
AR's going number one, right?
I think AR may have worked himself into the number one overall draft selection. I think that similar to Cam Newton, very similar story to Cam Newton too. Cam Newton was not the number one quarterback. Cam Newton was not going to be the first overall pick. And in the 11th hour, his value just skyrocketed. He was different. He was the guy that everybody wanted, that was unlike the other quarterbacks. And this guy mirrors himself after Cam. He was asked who his favorite player was. He said Cam Newton. And so it's all that same stories unfolding. It's like there's no one more athletic at the quarterback position that we've seen in probably ever coming out of college. He's literally the most athletic quarterback we've ever seen come out of college. Not necessarily saying he's going to be the best thrower. That's to be determined. That's very different than saying athletic. Athletic is...
Does that mean Bryce Young? Does it mean Bryce Young and other quarterbacks is going to fall?
That means that, I mean, it have to if he goes 1. But if Stroud goes 1, Anthony Richardson, I believe, goes 2. If Richardson goes 2, I think Stroud probably goes... I'm sorry, if Richardson goes 1, I think Stroud probably goes 2. My guess is that Bryce Young goes 3 or 4, which will be a steal to me. But it's tough to say because there's got to be a lot of trades that are going to happen. Chicago's got to trade out of the 1 pick. The Cardinals got to trade out of the 3 pick. I believe there could be 2 moves and in that top 4. Colts probably aren't going anywhere. Texans are probably not going anywhere at 2 and 4. So those 2 are after a quarterback. We could literally see 3 straight or 4 straight quarterbacks, or we could say 3 straight quarterbacks, or we could see 4 quarterbacks in the top 6. Like, it's going to be crazy. Levis is going really high. Who even knows where Hendon Hooker is going to go? So, like,
maybe second round. I'm thinking second round.
I don't know. I mean, he's injured, so who knows? I think Stetson Bennett increased his value a ton, but he kind of had what was thought to be like 5th or 4th round value. I don't know if he could climb into the second, but you never know. Stetson Bennett has such a good combine that they're probably gonna, you know, I'm imagining he's gonna get overdrafted. Hey, I'm gonna let you go, pal. I appreciate you dialing in. A little bit later. We'll be live later today at 7 p.m. Okay, pal?
Okay.
What was your name again? I didn't understand it the first time. He hung up.
I think he's gone.
Yeah. Mario, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Good God, Mario. You've just been sitting here the whole time. I'm sorry. The floor is yours.
No, it's like a podcast, you know. I was just hanging out. I felt like I was hanging out with the boys.
Yeah. That caller, whoever it was, he sounded so sad and defeated when I said I was going to let him go. But I had to get onto the other callers because he was asking a lot of good questions. But, you know, I had to move on, and I saw Mario sitting there. So for that caller, I didn't catch what his name was. I appreciate you. Great call. Calling again. Calling at 7 p.m. Okay, Mario, what can we do for you?
Well, what's going on, Smitty? I've been missing a few lives. I'm sorry for that. I saw you were alive just now while I'm on my break, so I had to hop in and say what's up. But this Lamar Jackson news about the Falcons not being interested, what do you think about that? Because I'm a little butthurt.
Yeah, I'm bummed about it, but I don't necessarily believe it yet. Until we hear it from ownership or whatever, I just don't buy into it because I don't think anybody had time to react. If I was the owner of a team or a GM and we heard Lamar Jackson was shockingly non-exclusive franchise tag, meaning he now costs 2 first-rounders, he doesn't cost 3 and a monster contract, it's a whole different ballgame. So for me, I feel like, I honestly just feel like you got to have time to process that. You got to sit down with your decision makers, and I don't think one person's making that decision. You know what I mean? Think about it. If you're in an organization where you have a process in place, a scouting process, a scouting personnel, you have ownership, you have GM, you have coach, you have offensive coordinator, you have a lot of pieces at play. There's almost no shot, one or even 2 teams is going to have a definitive answer for the public literally 2 hours after the shocking announcement is made that he was non-exclusive franchise tagged. And so, like, these teams are probably like, wait a minute, what's this mean? Break this down. Hey, what do you think of this? What's our availability cap space wise to make this happen? What could we do? Like, I highly doubt the Falcons were out. You know, the only thing you could say is, like, maybe a team like the Falcons had already ruled out Lamar no matter what. Like they talked about, okay, are we going to trade 3 first-rounders for him if he gets exclusive franchise tagged? He's not a good fit for our organization. We don't want him. And then news breaks that he's not an exclusive franchise tag, and they have an easy answer because they've already ruled him out. Yeah, we're not interested. But like we're hearing what sources say that the Falcons aren't interested. We have no idea. If the Falcons were that hard stanced about it, we would know where it came from. These are all like you read like the Athletic just had a report out right now. This report says this, and I'm not saying it's not true, so please understand that. But the report says, let's see here, let me pull it up. The Athletic is reporting. Let's see, here it is. The Athletic is reporting that there's no chance, quote unquote, the Commanders will acquire Lamar Jackson this offseason. So you know what everyone's going to say? Even though that has a source, the source is the Atlantic writer, Ben Standig. That doesn't matter. That's not a source. People will source him now and say, according to Dan from the Athletic, the Washington Commanders no chance, zero chance. Now that gets spread around, and because it feels like it's coming from a source, it's not. It's coming from an opinion that's as good as me saying it. And sometimes I say things, but no one quotes me as a source. I don't know why. I would appreciate it once in a while if someone would say, "Hey, according to Smitty from the Fantasy Football Show." Ziggy doesn't even know who I am. Ziggy, who is Smitty from the Fantasy Football Show? Ziggy, who is Smitty from the Fantasy Football Show?
William Smitty Pignatelli is an American politician serving as a...
I'm not a politician. Ziggy, off. He doesn't even know who I am. But my whole point is, I don't care what the Athletic says. It's news, and sometimes I go live on an Athletic report. Like, hey, the Athletic says that Aaron Rodgers is getting traded tomorrow. Like if that were to happen, whatever, down the road, whenever, I would go live on it. I'm telling you that. People need to understand my perspective. I would go live on it, and I probably would say, I don't know if we trust this report. Sometimes I go live on something to shoot it down. Sometimes I go live on something to confirm it. I go live when I'm getting DM after DM. Did you see this news report? Did you see this news report? It's my job to go live whenever there's a lot of chatter. It doesn't matter if it's accurate or not. Like some people will say, like if I said, hey, according to the Athletic, this person's retiring, but I don't think they're retiring, I'll let people come on my live stream or in the comments that don't even watch the video and go, Smitty, this is BS. I can't believe you actually say this. I'm like, did you watch the video? Because this was big enough for me to go live on, but I explained my thinking on it. So full circle back to like, do I believe this team is out? This team is out. I think we're getting a lot of people like this guy that says, and I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying, where's the source? He says there's zero chance. He does explain there's money issues that make it an improbable scenario and a very difficult one financially for the Washington Commanders to pull off. But that's his zero chance. It has nothing to do with something that the GM said. It has nothing to do with something that the owner said or the coaching staff or anything. So to me, no one's out yet. No one's out yet until the team officially says they're out or some significant decision maker with authority says they're out, in my opinion.
No, that makes complete sense. And the fact that they said zero chance for the Commanders, who literally have no starting quarterback right now, just discredits what he just said. Like, How is there zero? Lamar Jackson's a former MVP. You know what I mean? Like, how are you not even going to consider the fact that having a former MVP quarterback who's still in his prime on your team?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's kind of like discrediting himself as he's. I mean, not to hate on the guy or whatever.
No. And he could end up being right, but that doesn't mean that his statement was, very all solid. And again, he could be right. I said that from the beginning. I don't know if he's right or wrong on this, but I don't feel comfortable backing it and saying, yeah, I agree. Into Storm's comment, the Commanders have talked about Sam Howell, and they want to go with Sam Howell. But again, sometimes that's, coach and GM speak to be like, we back our guy. They also came out the other day, Storm, just the other day, and said that if a veteran beats out Sam Howell, so be it. Okay, so there you go.
Right.
That, like what you just said, Storm, was accurate, but now it's not accurate because the Commanders actually came out and said if a veteran beats him out, so be it. Instead of, oh, Sam's our guy. He's going nuts this year. That was their stance. Now their stance is, well, we don't know. So I hear what you're saying, Storm, but it's changed. Dan Snyder will make a deal for Lamar before he's forced to sell the team. A lot of people think that it'll be his last move. We've heard that before. So, I mean, we've heard all kinds of things. Austin, did anybody else see Jamar Chase baby mama posting? Yeah, so the one reason I haven't fed into the story is because I don't feel it's responsible reporting when it's not, like, and I know people are going to say, whoa, you'll be quick to drop a Mixon video or an Alvin Kamara video, but there's evidence of that. There's police taping off Mixon's home. Okay, so there was reason to go live on the Mixon story the other night. The police were taping off his home, banging on his front door, saying, "Come out, police, come out." I think I had a little bit of a reason to report on that. Alvin Kamara, there's footage of him beating a guy into the ground. Okay, so with this one, his baby's mama reportedly is saying she has these text messages that are going to end his career, and so I'm concerned about it. But also, these things get deleted and they get removed, and so she no longer wants it out there. Then she wants it out there, and she does. So I'm just like holding off to find out, like, if she's going to stand firm on something, and we're fearful of this, we're going to have to address it at some point, because if there is something out there, it's an accusation, then and it could end his career. Like, people that have fantasy football invested interest in this long-term dynasty value do kind of want to know in advance if something's coming downstream. But I don't feel that yet. We're hearing her say things reportedly, allegedly, that were taken down. So how much does she really feel if she's taking it down? That says if this gets out, it'll end his career or whatever. But we don't know what it is. So it's like, I just don't feel like fueling it. I feel like Jamar Chase deserves better than that. And you could say, Smitty, that's biased because you love Jamar Chase, you love the Bengals. Whatever, I'm a human being too. But I'm certainly not going to fuel it and start getting people scared about it when we don't even know what it is. She won't even tell us what it is. So what good is it to speculate? I'm going to err on the side of caution on this one. Anybody else? I'm going to head out for the time being. We got 100 people in here. Punch that thumb up button. Let's give Mario 10 seconds. Mario, what would you like to say on the way out the door, pal?
Nothing but much love, much growth to the fantasy football show. I think nothing but great things from Smitty. And us as a community, I just hope we keep building up and loving the love that you're getting throughout this offseason. Appreciate you, Mario. Thanks for calling in, man. No problem.
The Voss, give us a 20-second goodbye and anything else that's on your mind.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show live. Smitty, doing a great job. Keep going.
Appreciate you, Voss.
Okay, buddy. You take care. Thanks. Ron Navy, take care, buddy.
Hey, you too, Voss. Love you, man.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Later, pal. Ron Navy, final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm highly disappointed and sad. Here all along, I thought I was contributing to Smitty's political campaign fund to find out that you're not a politician. On that, great show. Love you. Talk to you later.
Later, Ron. Appreciate you, man. All right, Ron is out. Guys, I am going to be back. I'm sure breaking news will happen in the next 10 minutes, and I'll be back again. Please understand that I go live whenever news breaks. Please understand that I'm live every single Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Please understand that I go live more than anybody you know, because I've been live over the last, a day ago, the last 72 hours before, I had been live for 20 hours of the 72 hours. I go live more than anybody. It's because I work for you. So I will see you here at 7 p.m. or sooner, because if news breaks between now and our regular 7 p.m. Monday through Friday show, I go live. That's the way it works. So I will see you all later. Appreciate you. Thank you for watching the Fantasy Football Show. Please like on the way out, and please subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you at 7 p.m. or sooner. Later. Later, everyone. Appreciate you. Hit that thumb up button on your way out the door. We got a 93 people still lingering in here, wondering if I'm gonna pop back in. We do that once in a while. Hit that thumb up button. We got 85 eyeballs still in here. 92 thumbs up. Let's get that over 100 on the way out the door. Again, I will see you all probably before 7 p.m. if I had to guess, but at least at 7 p.m. And then we might even not mock draft. Well, we might mock draft, but we're going to do best ball drafts, underdog fantasy, promo code Smitty. Link in the description of the video. Promo code Smitty. That link is in the description of every video. And if you don't get signed up now, minimum $10 deposit, which they'll match. They'll match up to $100 in your first deposit. So know that when you make your first deposit. Drop 50, they give you 50. You drop 10, they give you 10. And you'll be ready to draft tonight on the live drafts on Underdog Fantasy. Later, everybody. 99 thumbs up. One more. Yeah, Dynasty channel. I really plan to do a Dynasty live stream tonight. I'm going to drop that Dynasty link right now. We have a Dynasty channel, people. We have a Dynasty channel. That link is right here. I plan to go live tonight on the Dynasty channel. Please click that link and subscribe to the Dynasty channel so you don't miss a Dynasty episode. I'll see you all later. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.